Guides and overabundant information may have changed gaming for the worse. Let's explore why. Games develop metas, and the more refined a meta is, the less variability there is for players. And less variability means less fun. Guides contribute to the establishment of metas by providing players with the most efficient strategies, tactics, and builds. This leads to a widespread adoption of these strategies among the player base, ultimately resulting in the development of a meta. This also leads to a lack of creativity and diversity in gameplay, as players feel pressured to conform to the established meta, rather than experimenting with their own unique ways to play. And with that, we end up in the dry land of metagaming even more quickly. When players see others achieve success using strategies outlined in guides, they feel pressure to do the same in order to keep up. That's human nature. So you start using guides, but in the process you become reliant on them to progress through the games, which can lead to a sense of inadequacy or frustration when attempting to play without it, as you struggle to perform as well as you would with a guide. All of this creates an urge to use guides. So you'll feel like you're missing out if you do not use them, which is the last thing you want when playing a game. We have enough of that in real life.
Engineer, you're a noob.
Guides can contribute to the establishment of elitism by providing players with a step-by-step process to achieve success. This can create a divide between those who have read the guides and those who haven't, leading to a sense of superiority among those who have followed the guides. So, through the spread of information and guides, the player base gets it stuck in their head which skills, characters, and things are good or bad. And so, a part of the player base creates a pressure for other players to conform to the correct way of playing the game, which creates a toxic and exclusionary environment that discourages new players from joining the community.
Yes, X marks the spot.
I love exploration in games, whether it's exploring geographically, exploring the skills, or exploring game systems. It's fun. This is where guides come in. They will tell you which skills are the best. They explain the billions of ways to choose the game systems and give you a step-by-step on how to do the dungeons. And in that way, players who rely on guides miss out on the thrill of creating their own build, discovering skills by themselves, figuring out dungeons, and much more. So, in giving into this forbidden knowledge, you follow a predetermined path, which makes the game feel less engaging and exciting.
Still sane, Exile?
The fun part about gaming is gaming, unsurprisingly. And if there is a guide block towards allowing you to actually play the game, you'll need to stop gaming to read the material that's outside the game, so you get less time to enjoy the game. Let's take Path of Exile. The game's full to the brim with mechanics and knowledge you can't easily understand, so new players practically forced to use outside information. I've recently gotten into it and I had to watch about 20 hours of guides, and even though it was a lot of fun after I understood the basics of the game, it made the game feel like a chore to complete rather than an enjoyable gaming time. I don't believe these guide-gated experiences are a beneficial thing for games, as they prevent new players from joining the game and diminish the experience for those who brave the game regardless. Guides contribute to a sense of burnout and boredom because they often focus on achieving specific goals. And if players rely too heavily on guides, they become fixated on reaching milestones rather than appreciating the game's mechanics, storyline, atmosphere, etc. This leads to a sense of monotony and repetition, as you feel like you're simply doing chores in order to achieve specific outcomes. As a result, players begin to feel burnt out or bored with the game, as they are no longer engaging with it in a way that feels meaningful or enjoyable. Soon enough, this leads to the loss of interest in the game, until eventually you quit it entirely. Guides can also be misleading or inaccurate, letting players go down the wrong path. This is especially true for games that are complex, as guides don't always reflect the most up-to-date information or use the best strategies for success. And this can lead you to waste your time and resources and ultimately lead to your in-game failure, which can be incredibly frustrating. Also, guides don't take into account your individual playstyle or preference. What works for one player may not for another. and following a guide can lead you to a sense of disconnect from the game as you end up playing in a way that you didn't sign up for. All of this can lead to a sense of disappointment as you feel like you've wasted your time or were misled.
Ah, here we go again.
Ultimately, the use of guides in gaming can both enhance or detract from the overall experience. While they can provide valuable information and strategies for players, they contribute to a culture that exacerbates all the points in this video. So it is important for players to strike a balance between using guides as a helpful resource and exploring their own unique approaches to gaming.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, dislike, comment, and subscribe.